Welcome to my expat stories. This one's going to make you paranoid about trusting your own eyes, about believing photographs, about thinking that just because you're an engineer who worked in government for 37 years, you can spot a fake. Bill visited the construction site, touched the foundation, checked the permits, watched the villa go up through weekly photo updates. He did everything right, and he still lost his entire retirement fund. Here's Bill. I stood in the middle of a rice field staring at mud and water buffalo. This was supposed to be my retirement villa. 3-bedroom, ocean view, infinity pool. I'd watched them clear this land, watched them pour the foundation. I had photos on my phone of the bloody construction, but there was nothing here, just rice, just mud, just me standing in the Thai sun realising I'd lost £142,000. If you've ever trusted documents, believed photographs, and still got burned, you'll want to hear this. Make sure to like and subscribe for more stories from Thailand. Let me tell you how I got here. My name's Bill. Billy to my mates. I'm 61 years old. I worked as a civil engineer for Melbourne City Council for 37 years. Roads, bridges, drainage systems. Nothing glamorous. But steady. Good super. Good pension. I retired in March 2023 with a decent redundancy package and a plan. The plan was simple. Sell the house in Frankston. Too big for one bloke. The kids were grown. Sarah, my daughter, was in Sydney with her own family. My son Luke was in Brisbane. I saw them maybe twice a year. The house had 4 bedrooms and memories I didn't need anymore. My wife Jenny died in 2019. Cancer. After that, the house just felt empty. So I sold it, got a fair price. Kept some for the kids' inheritance. Took my redundancy payout. Had about 200 grand Australian to my name. Enough to buy something small in Thailand and live off the pension. That was the dream. Warm weather, cheap living, beach nearby, golf, maybe meet some expats, have a beer, watch the footy online. Simple. I'd been to Thailand twice before. Once in 2015 with Jenny for our 30th anniversary. We did Bangkok and Phuket. She loved it. Said we should retire there. I told her maybe. Then in 2022, a year after she died, I went to Chiang Mai with my mate Davo. He'd retired there. Kept telling me to do the same. I liked it, but it felt too far from the coast. I'm a beach bloke. Always have been, so in November 2023, I flew to Hua Hin. I'd read it was quieter than Pattaya. More retirees. Actual Thai families. Not just backpackers and bar girls. I booked a month in a serviced apartment near the beach, just to have a look around, see if I could picture myself there. The first week I did the usual. Walked the beach, ate seafood, checked out the night market, went to the expat meetups at the bars, met some Aussies, some Brits, couple of Kiwis. Everyone said the same thing. Don't rent. Buy, property's cheap. You'll get your money back easy if you sell. Makes sense. So I started looking. I walked into about 6 real estate offices. Most of them were staffed by young Thai women who spoke decent English. They'd show me condos, nice enough. But I didn't want a condo, I wanted a house. A villa. Something with a bit of land. A pool, maybe. I'm not a condo bloke. That's when I met Apinya. She was working at a beachfront restaurant near my apartment. I'd gone there for breakfast. Pancakes and coffee. She was serving tables. Maybe 35 years old. Friendly. Professional. Not pushy. We got chatting. She asked where I was from. I told her Melbourne. She said she loved Australia. Her cousin lived in Perth. I went back the next morning. Same order. She remembered me. Asked if I was on holiday. I said sort of. Told her I was thinking about buying property. Maybe retiring here. She lit up. Said her friend worked in property. Said she could introduce me if I wanted. I said sure. Why not? 2 days later she brought her friend to the restaurant. A woman called Kaew. Bit older than Apinya. Maybe 40. Professional looking. Had a folder full of listings. Spoke excellent English. We sat down. She showed me properties. Most were condos. I told her I wanted a villa. She said those are harder to find. More expensive. I said I've got the budget. What can you show me? She pulled out a listing. Plot of land in a development just outside Hua Hin. 20 minutes from the beach. They were building villas. 3 bedrooms. 2 bathrooms. Private pool. Small garden. Ocean view from the upper floor. Computer-generated images looked brilliant. Modern design. Clean lines. Exactly what I wanted. She said the developer was Thai, But the architect was Australian. Said they were specifically targeting expat retirees. The development would have 12 villas. 6 were already sold. 6 left. If I wanted one, I needed to move fast. I asked the price. She said 3.2 million baht. I did the quick conversion in my head. About 130,000 Australian. Seemed reasonable. Not cheap, but not crazy for what I was getting. I said I wanted to see the land. She said no problem. We can go tomorrow. The next day, Kaew picked me up in her car. Apinya came too, said she wanted to see the development. We drove about 30 minutes out of town, turned off the main road onto a dirt track, drove another 10 minutes. Then we arrived. It was beautiful. Genuine ocean view. You could see the water from the road. The land had been cleared. You could see where they'd marked out the plots. There were wooden stakes with numbers. Plot 7, Plot 8, Plot 9. Some had foundations already poured. Others were just cleared dirt. Kaew showed me Plot 11, right at the edge of the development. Best ocean view. The foundation was already done. Concrete poured and set. She said construction would start in 2 weeks. Completion in 6 months. I could move in by June 2024. I walked around the plot, felt the concrete. It was real, solid, professional work. I'm a civil engineer. I know good foundations. This was good work. I asked about the developer. She showed me documents, company registration, building permits, architect's drawings. Everything looked legitimate. I'm not stupid. I worked in government for 37 years. I know how to read documents. These looked real. I said I needed time to think. She said that's fine, but Plot 11 won't last. 2 other buyers were interested. If I wanted it, I should decide soon. That night, I sat in my apartment and did the maths. 130,000 Australian. I had 200. That left me 70 grand for furniture, a car, living expenses until the pension kicked in. It was tight, but doable. I called my daughter Sarah, told her I was thinking about buying a villa in Thailand. She said, that sounds nice, Dad. She didn't ask details. She was busy with her kids. I called Luke. He said, go for it. You've earned it. Neither of them asked to see documents. They trusted me. I'm their dad. I'm a civil engineer. I know what I'm doing. The next morning, I called Kaew, said I wanted Plot 11. She said, brilliant. She'd draw up the paperwork. But I needed to pay a deposit. 30% to secure it. Standard practice. I said how much? She said 960,000 baht, about 40,000 Australian. I said fine. She said I needed to transfer it to the developer's account. She'd send me the bank details. I said, can I pay in instalments? She said no. Deposit has to be paid in full. Then 30% when construction starts. 40% halfway through. Final payment on completion. I went to Bangkok Bank the next day. Did the transfer. 40,000 Australian dollars. Gone in 5 minutes. But I had the receipt. I had the contract. I had Plot 11. Kaew texted me that evening, said the deposit was received. Construction would start on schedule. She'd send me updates every week, and she did. Every week she'd send photos, the foundation, the walls going up, the roof frame, the windows being installed. I'd zoom in on the photos, check the work. It looked good. Professional. I had no reason to doubt it. I flew back to Melbourne in December. Told my mates I'd bought a villa in Thailand. Showed them the photos. They were impressed. Jealous even. Darvo said, you lucky bastard. I felt good. I felt like I'd made the right decision. Over the next few months, I kept getting updates. The villa was taking shape. Kaew would send videos, the construction crew working, the tiling going in, the pool being dug. It looked real. It was real. I could see it. In February, she said they needed the second payment. 30%. To keep construction on schedule. I asked if I could see the villa first. She said it's not finished yet. Too dangerous to walk around. Construction site. But she'd send more photos. I said fine. I transferred another 53,000 Australian. 1.3 million baht. More updates. More photos. The villa looked brilliant. Modern. Exactly like the computer images. I started planning the move, looked at her flights, started selling my furniture in Melbourne. Gave notice at my apartment. I was moving to Thailand in June. This was happening. In April, she said they needed another payment, 20%, for the finishing touches. Fixtures, appliances, pool pump. I said I thought it was 40% halfway through. She said yes. But we're ahead of schedule. Need to order materials now. I said fine. Another 38,000 Australian gone. By May, I'd paid 131,000 Australian dollars. 95% of the villa cost. Only the final 5% left. Kaew said I could visit in June to see the finished villa. Do a walkthrough, sign the final paperwork, then move in. I flew to Thailand on June 12th, 2024. Landed in Bangkok. Got a bus to Hua Hin. I was buzzing. I was about to see my retirement villa. My new life. This was it. I texted Kaew. Said I'd arrived. She said brilliant. Meet me tomorrow at the restaurant. We'll drive out together. But that night I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about the villa, about seeing it finished. So at 6 a.m, I rented a scooter. I still had the address. I knew how to get there. I'd been once before, I'd find it myself. Surprised Kaew. Show her I was keen. I drove out of town, found the dirt track, followed it. 10 minutes in. This was it. I recognised the road, the trees, the turnoff. I pulled up where the development should be, and that's when I saw it. Nothing. Just rice fields, water buffalo, a farmer in a conical hat planting seedlings. No villas, no foundations, no construction. Nothing. I got off the scooter, walked around, looking for anything. A sign, a marker, plot 11, anything. There was nothing. I walked up to the farmer. He looked at me, confused. I said in broken Thai, house, building, villa? He shook his head, pointed at the rice, said something I didn't understand. I pulled out my phone, showed him the photos Kaew had sent, the construction, the villa going up. He looked at the photos, looked at me, looked at the rice field, shook his head again. I stood there for an hour, maybe longer, walking around, checking my phone GPS. This was the right location, same coordinates, same dirt track, same view of the ocean in the distance. But there was no villa. There never was. I called Kaew straight away, standing in that rice field with my phone in my hand. I called her. It rang, and rang, and rang. Voicemail. I tried again. Same thing. Voicemail. I sent a message online. Where are you? I'm at the site. There's nothing here. I waited. Nothing. No reply. No read receipt. Nothing. I got back on the scooter, drove straight to the restaurant where I'd first met Apinya. Maybe she'd know something. Maybe this was just a misunderstanding. Maybe I had the wrong location. Maybe the GPS was off. Maybe I was losing my mind. The restaurant was open. Different girl working. Young. Maybe 20. I asked for Apinya. She looked confused. I said Apinya. Works here. Serves tables. The girl shook her head. Said no one by that name works there. I said she was here in November, 6 months ago. The girl shrugged. Said she'd only been working there 2 months. Didn't know anyone called Apinya. I showed her a photo on my phone. Me and Apinya at the restaurant. She'd taken it herself. The girl looked at it. Looked at me, said she didn't recognise her. I sat down. Ordered a coffee I didn't want. Tried to think. Tried to make sense of it. Kaew's office. She had an office. I'd never been there, but she'd given me a business card. I pulled out my wallet. Found the card. Hua Hin Property Solutions. Address in the centre of town. Phone number. Email. Logo. Professional looking card. I paid for the coffee. Got back on the scooter. Drove to the address on the card. It was a 7-Eleven. Not near a 7-Eleven. Not next to a 7-Eleven. The address was a bloody 7-Eleven. I checked the card again. Checked the street number. This was it. This was the address. I went inside. Asked the bloke behind the counter if he knew about a property office. He said no. Just 7-Eleven. I asked if there used to be one. He said he'd worked there 3 years. Never seen a property office. I stood outside that 7-Eleven for 20 minutes. People walked past, bought their cigarettes, their water, their instant noodles. And I just stood there, holding a business card for a company that didn't exist. I tried calling Kaew again. Voicemail. I tried the office number on the card. Disconnected. I tried the email. Sent a message. Where are you? What's going on? Call me. I knew it wouldn't bounce back. It'd just go nowhere, into the void. That's when it hit me, really hit me. I'd been scammed. $131,000. Gone. To a woman who didn't exist. For a villa that was never built. On land that was never mine. I went back to my hotel, sat on the bed, opened my phone, went through everything. Every message, Every photo, every video Kaew had sent me, the construction photos. I zoomed in, looked at the backgrounds, looked at the details, tried to find anything that proved it was Plot 11, anything that matched the site I'd visited. There was nothing. No plot markers, no signs, no identifiable features. Just generic construction photos. Could have been anywhere. Could have been from the internet for all I knew. The videos, I watched them again. The construction crew working, the tiling, the pool. Same thing. No identifying features. No Plot 11 sign. No ocean view. Nothing that matched. I felt sick. Actually sick. How did I miss this? I'm a civil engineer. I worked in government. I know how to check things. I know how to verify documents. And I missed it. All of it. I pulled out the contract. The one I'd signed. The one I'd paid $40,000 for. Read through it properly this time. The company name. Andaman Property Development Co. Limited. I googled it. Nothing. No website, no registration, no records. Nothing. The company registration number. I tried looking it up on the Thai business registry. Didn't exist. The architect's name. Peter Morrison, Brisbane. I googled him. Found a Peter Morrison in Brisbane. He was a plumber. Not an architect. I called him. He'd never heard of Hua Hin. Never designed anything in Thailand. The building permit number. I called the Hua Hin municipal office. Gave them the number. They said it was invalid. No permit with that number had ever been issued. Every single document was fake. The company. The permits. The architect. The contract. All of it. Fake. I sat there with my laptop open and my phone in my hand and my head in my hands, and I wanted to scream. I wanted to throw something. I wanted to get on a plane and disappear. But I couldn't. Because I needed to know. I needed to know where my money went. I needed to know who Kaew really was. I needed to know if there was any way to get it back. I went to the police station the next morning. Tourist police. Figured they'd be more helpful. More likely to speak English. I explained everything. Showed them the photos, the contract, the bank transfers, the business card, everything. The officer listened, took notes, asked questions. Then he leaned back in his chair and said, "This is very common. Very common." Like I'd just told him about a pickpocket. Not $131,000. Very common. He said they'd file a report. I could take it to my embassy. Maybe my bank could help. But realistically, the money was gone. These scams are sophisticated. The people disappear. The trail goes cold. They'd investigate, but I shouldn't get my hopes up. I asked about Kaew, about Apinya. He said those names were probably fake. The restaurant probably had no idea. The photos were probably stolen from a real development. The women were probably working with a larger network. This wasn't some amateur operation. This was professional. He was being kind, but I could see it in his eyes. I was an idiot. Another stupid Farang who thought he could retire in paradise. Another mug who believed a pretty smile and some fake documents. I took the police report, thanked him, left. I called my bank in Australia that afternoon, explained what happened, asked if they could reverse the transfers. The woman on the phone was sympathetic, but the transfers were international. They'd gone to a Thai bank account. They'd been there for months. The account was probably empty now. The money probably moved through 10 different accounts. She said she'd open a case, but she couldn't promise anything. I knew she was being polite. The money was gone, it wasn't coming back. I tried one more thing. I went back to the restaurant. Different day, different time. Hoping to catch someone who'd remember Apinya. Hoping someone would know something. The manager was there this time. Older Thai bloke. Maybe 50. I showed him the photo of Apinya. Asked if he recognised her. He looked at it for a long time. Then he said, "Maybe." Said a girl who looked like that worked there for about a month last year. Casual work. Cash in hand. Gave a fake name probably. She stopped showing up in December. December. Right after I'd met her. Right after she'd introduced me to Kaew. I asked if he had any details. Contact information. Address. Anything. He shook his head. Said she was paid daily. No paperwork, no records. She just stopped coming. Happened all the time. I sat at that restaurant for an hour, drinking coffee, watching people walk past, watching life happen. And I thought about Jenny, about how she'd wanted to retire here, about how she'd loved Thailand. about how she'd never have let me do something this stupid. I thought about my kids, about Sarah and Luke, about how I'd have to tell them what happened, about how I'd told them I knew what I was doing, about how I was a civil engineer, about how I could spot a scam. I thought about my mates back home, about Davo in Chiang Mai, about showing them the photos of the villa, about how proud I was, about how jealous they were, about how I'd have to tell them there was no villa. There never was. That night I went back to the site one more time. I don't know why, maybe I thought it'd be different. Maybe I thought the villa would be there, and this was all just a bad dream. Maybe I just needed to see it again, to accept it. I drove out there at sunset. The rice field was glowing orange. The farmer was gone. Just the water buffalo. Just the mud. Just the emptiness. I stood there and I pulled out my phone and I scrolled through the construction photos again. The walls, the roof, the windows, the pool. And I tried to figure out where they came from, where the real villa was, who was living in it, if it even existed. Then I saw something in one of the videos, a reflection in a window. I paused it, zoomed in. It was a street sign, blurry, but readable. Soi Takiab 14. I googled it, Soi Takiab. It's in Hua Hin, about 15 minutes from where I was standing, near the beach, expensive area. I got back on the scooter, drove straight there, found Soi Takiab 14, started driving down it slowly, looking at the houses, looking for anything that matched the photos, and then I saw it. The villa, my villa, the one from the photos, the 3 bedrooms, the infinity pool, the ocean view. It was right there, finished, beautiful, lights on inside, a car in the driveway, a Thai family visible through the windows, having dinner. I stopped the scooter, got off, stood on the street staring at it. This was it. This was the villa I'd paid for, the villa that was supposed to be mine, and someone else was living in it. Someone who had no idea I existed. Someone who'd probably bought it legitimately from the actual developer. Someone who had nothing to do with any of this. I stood there until it got dark, until the family closed their curtains, until I couldn't see inside anymore. Then I got back on the scooter and drove back to my hotel. The next morning, I went to the villa again, knocked on the door. A Thai woman answered, maybe 40, friendly. I said in broken Thai and English that I had a question about the house. She looked confused but let me ask. I showed her the photos on my phone, the construction photos Kaew had sent me. Asked if this was her house. She looked at them, nodded, said yes, that's our house. Said they'd bought it 2 years ago. Moved in last June. Asked why I was asking. I didn't know what to say. How do you explain that you paid for someone else's house? That you watched it being built through photos and videos and thought it was yours? That you lost your entire retirement fund to a scam so sophisticated you still couldn't quite believe it? I just said thank you, said I must have the wrong place. She smiled, closed the door. I walked back to my scooter, sat on it, didn't start it, just sat there looking at the villa that was never mine, looking at my retirement dream living someone else's life. That's when I knew, really knew, it was over. The money was gone, the villa was never mine, and Kaew, whoever she really was long gone with £142,000 of my life. I flew back to Melbourne 3 days later. Didn't tell anyone I was coming, didn't want to talk about it, didn't want to see the looks on their faces when I explained what happened. I went through my bank statements one more time on the plane, made a proper list, wanted to know exactly what I'd lost. Total, 142,000 Australian dollars. My entire redundancy package. Gone. Sent to a Thai bank account that probably didn't exist anymore. For a villa that was never mine. To a woman whose real name I'd never know. I still had about 58,000 left from selling the house. Enough to rent something small. Not enough to buy. Not enough to retire properly. Not enough to ever feel secure again. When I got home, I told my kids. Sarah cried. Not for the money. For me. For how stupid I must have felt. Luke was angry. Said I should have asked him to check the documents. Said he would have spotted it. Maybe he would have. Maybe he wouldn't. Doesn't matter now. I told Davo, he went quiet. Then he said he knew 3 other blokes it had happened to. Property scams. Bar girl scams. Investment scams. All in Thailand. All lost everything. He said it's the dream that gets you. The idea that you can have something better. something easier, somewhere warm where your pension goes further and life's simpler. That's what they sell you, and once you want it badly enough, you stop seeing the red flags. He was right. I wanted it so badly I ignored everything. The fact that I never met the developer, the fact that the office address was fake, the fact that Apinya disappeared after introducing me to Kaew, the fact that the construction photos had no identifying markers, the fact that I paid 95% before completion, the fact that it all seemed too easy. I ignored it all because I wanted the dream to be real. The police in Thailand never found Kaew, never found Apinya. The investigation went nowhere. My bank denied my claim, said I'd authorised the transfers, said there was no evidence of fraud on their end, said I should have been more careful. They were right. I should have been. I'm back in Frankston now, renting a 2-bedroom flat near the beach. Not the beach in Hua Hin, the cold beach, the Melbourne beach where you need a jacket 8 months of the year. I'm doing some consulting work. Bit of freelance engineering, pays the bills, keeps me busy, stops me thinking about it too much. I haven't been back to Thailand, don't think I ever will. Sarah asked if it ruined Thailand for me. I said no. Thailand didn't do this to me. Kaew did this to me. Or whoever Kaew really was. Thailand's just a place. A place where I made the worst financial decision of my life. But just a place. Sometimes I think about that villa, about the family living in it, about whether they know their house was used to scam some stupid Australian bloke out of his retirement. Probably not. Probably don't care. Why would they? It's their house. They bought it properly. They did nothing wrong. Sometimes I think about Jenny. About how if she'd still been alive, this never would have happened. She would have asked the right questions. She would have made me slow down. She would have seen through it. But she wasn't there and I was lonely. And I wanted something to look forward to. And that made me vulnerable. And that's what they count on. I learned something though. Learned that being smart doesn't protect you. Being experienced doesn't protect you. Working in government for 37 years doesn't protect you. Nothing protects you when you want something badly enough. When you're lonely enough. When the dream looks real enough. The photos looked real. The documents looked real. The foundation I touched was real, just not mine. None of it was ever mine. That's my story. $142,000 for a villa I never owned. Photos of someone else's house. A retirement dream that never existed. Some people say I should have known better. They're right. I should have. But when you're standing on a plot of land in Thailand, touching real concrete, holding real documents, it's hard to believe it's all fake. Until it is. And that was Bill's story. A civil engineer who checked every document, visited the construction site, and still lost his entire retirement fund. The villa was real. The photos were real. The family living there is real. Bill just paid for a house that was never for sale to him. He's back in Melbourne now, renting a flat, doing consulting work, and living with the fact that wanting something badly enough doesn't make it yours. Have you ever trusted something so completely that you missed every warning sign? Let us know in the comments. And if you've got a story from Thailand, we want to hear it. This is my expat stories. Keep your guard up out there.